Hello guys, Emmanuel from Geekception here, and hope you're doing awesome today. Now today I shall be taking a look at the Huawei Matebook X Pro. I shall be, telling you how I've used it in everyday life, what are the pros and cons, and what are some of the things I've noticed about this device. Let's begin. And welcome back guys, Emmanuel from Geekception here like I said, and if you're new here, well, welcome, get comfortable, and if you're returning back, well, also get comfortable. Please introduce yourself, meet each other. Anyways, today I have the Matebook X Pro, which boasts high specs, very slim device, and fingerprint scanner, pop-up, camera, and lots of fancy stuff. But how does it perform in everyday life? Well, let's dive into it. Starting with the build quality, and this is the first indicator that this device is premium. It feels nice, it looks nice, and using it is, well, you guessed it, nice. Moving on to the display, and the display here is simply beautiful. I think that is the only word I can use for it. Now, the display at its native resolution, which is a very high resolution display, is nearly unusable except you have amazing ultra pixel eyes. But I settled at 200% to use the display here, which I think is good enough. Something that is better than good enough though is the touchscreen. So the display here is touchscreen, but I never really used it much. I basically just used it as a typical laptop. Something I did use every day though is the fingerprint scanner. Now, the fingerprint scanner here on the Matebook X Pro is simply amazing. So when you turn off the device or you close the lid, by the time you open it and press the power button, that's all you need to do, it automatically unlocks when it wakes up. Another thing that I like on the Matebook X Pro here is the keyboard. Now the keyboard feels very tactile, which means that when I press on it, I can feel the press, and also the fact that it's quiet. And when I was on so many Zoom calls or Skype or even Facebook Messenger calls occasionally, it was very quiet that even if I typed, it was not an issue at all. So fantastic keyboard. A feature I like that was included here on the Matebook X Pro is the clipboard manager. So basically inbuilt is a clipboard manager where you copy and paste all your stuff on the right. And it was nice to be able to have an history of all the things that I've copied to paste later, which I think is pretty cool. Moving on to performance, and it was fantastic. All I did with the computer was, I did a lot of editing. By editing, I mean Word editing. I did a lot of web browsing. I did a lot of, watching videos. And this laptop handled it perfectly. Like no stutters, no lags, nothing. Now, based off the request on the last video, shout out to you. I actually, played a light game here, a tale about Uncle, and it actually, to my surprise, performed really well. Even at the maximum resolution setting, it performed great. When I tried something like Watch Dogs 2, it brought a lot of errors and it was very, very laggy. So this will not play intensive games. This is, I think, for light tasks and for document and web browsing. I think that would be where you would get a lot of use out of this computer. And on the display, I enjoyed watching a lot of videos on this computer. Most of the time I ended up just sitting down at my second workstation here and just watching videos because it just looks so good. The screen, the moment you open it up, it just it stares you and it's like, look at me, look how beautiful I am. The speakers here on the Matebook X Pro are not the loudest nor the bassiest, but they get the job done. And, for me, I found out that they were adequate. I don't need a party on my laptop, and I don't imagine if you're using something like this, you need, something powerful either. But I would say to play, your regular YouTube videos should be fine. Rishi, what is this? That's right. You did not get the answer. It's a double chin, and welcome to double chin world with this laptop, because every single video call you are on, you will have double chins because of the awkward placement. I mean, it's pretty smart putting the camera behind a keyboard button, but in reality, everything gets in the way. Your fingers get in the way when you're typing, and you also look like you've added 5-10 more pounds to your weight. So again, not the biggest fan for me personally, and also quality is perhaps not the best. So camera here, I would say use it if you absolutely have to, which I absolutely had to on this computer, but I don't think you are going to like it. Another thing perhaps you are not going to like is the fact that when you're charging this laptop, it gets really hot. And by hot, I don't mean, it's slightly warm to the touch. I mean, oh my God, I'm going to boil an egg. And yes, I do not recommend you use this laptop if you're charging it. I mean, by putting it on your lap, or if you're doing highly intensive tasks. I find out that also tended to get it hot. So, no, use a table, Any intensive stuff, or if you're charging, use a table with this laptop. Well, I guess it's a tabletop then. Still speaking on charging, and I found out that, charging tended to be about 2 hours, give or take, to go from 20% to 100%. That varied. Sometimes it was longer, depending on what I was doing, and sometimes it was shorter, but, general idea of, the time it took. And when it comes to charging, there's a dedicated charging USB-C port on the left side of the laptop, and you can also charge it from other ports, but it's going to be slower, so something to keep in mind. Something you don't have to keep in mind, however, is the battery life. So battery life here is superb, because it is. And most of the time I found out that, battery life here was 2 days easily. I was able to use this, all day for one day and all day for another day, or most of the time even for like 3 days if it's not really that intensive. So yes, I would say battery life here is amazing. Now the laptop comes with this, which is the Matedock 2, which is, an extension cord for, your VGA, your HDMI, another port. And I would say I used it when I was transferring stuff from my hard drive, so it came in handy. And if you want to do presentations with this, which I suppose you will if you're using this for documents and slides and all of that, you would really appreciate that this comes in the box and you don't have to spend extra money. So good job, Huawei. Good job. And finally, moving on to the price. The price here in Malaysia retails for 7,999 Malaysian ringgit, and I'll be putting conversions up on screen now. Let me know what you feel about the price. I think for this market segment or this target audience, it's more in line with people that will be looking at a MacBook Pro, for example. So let me know what are your thoughts on the price. And rounding up this video, thank you for sticking by the way. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Are my pros. Basically the pros, the first one is definitely the build quality. It is a very sleek laptop. The battery life, all the battery life, amazing, especially when you don't want to bring out the charger. The fingerprint scanner is amazing too. You one touch, you're in. Display looks super nice. You're going to look at it and you're going to wonder like, ooh, this is so good. And finally, the performance is pretty good as well. So, you're not going to, be left wanting for, opening as many tabs that you want on Google Chrome. For my cons, I'll definitely say is the fact that it gets hot. It gets really, really hot if you're doing any sort of intensive task or if you're charging your battery. And also the camera, you're definitely going to, add some pounds. So something for you to pay attention to. But again, for me, that is pretty much all the cons I have. This is a really, really nice laptop. In conclusion, for you, is this the right laptop? Well, it depends. If you're someone who wants something sleek, it doesn't run Mac OS, so it runs Windows 10 here. And, it has, nice fingerprint scanner. It has a touch screen, which you would never get on a Mac. Then, it's a no-brainer really. And, okay, maybe you can afford it as well. That is also, something to consider. Well, I don't see why you shouldn't go for this. It's a fantastic laptop. And I think, for the price, for the features, I don't think you can get anything better, at least in my experience. And that's basically been it for this video. Welcome to the end gang, hashtag, the watch to the end gang. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think. Are you going to get it? Are you just watching it just to watch it? Or, what are your thoughts? How are you coping, especially during this pandemic and all this, protests and everything? I hope you're staying safe, and I'm trying to stay safe as well. And I shall catch you in the next one. Don't forget to be awesome. Bye.